Hello friends, it's Sam Cheney reporting for WeaponizedNews.com. Today's June 12th, 2016. 50 dead in gay nightclub shooting, worst in U.S. history. Saturday night slaughter. He was wearing a suicide vest, opened fire on dance floor, blood everywhere. Music stopped, then screams. 50 killed in Florida nightclub terror attack. Multiple gunshots heard. Let's take a listen.
Oh my god, people are getting shot, dude.
Get out of here.
Oh my god, dude.
This guy's firing off shots.
So that's a Snapchat video of gunshots being heard at the scene. 50 dead in Orlando mass shooting. Senator says possible link to Islamic terrorism. 50 dead in Orlando nightclub terrorism attack. State of emergency declared. Terrorist was organized and well prepared during deadly nightclub mass shooting, official says. Now let's get to the big boil down of the Daily Mail. Worst mass shooter in U.S. history. New York City born Islamic extremist Omar Manteen, 29, who shot dead 50 people and injured 53 in Orlando gay club massacre, was a homophobe who got angry when he saw two men kissing. Suspected Islamic extremist opened fire inside Pulse Gay Club in Orlando in the early hours of Saturday morning, actually Sunday morning. Law enforcement sources have identified the shooter as U.S. citizen Omar Manteen from Port St. Lucie in Florida. He killed at least 50 people and injured 53 and took partygoers hostage before being killed by police. Shooter 29 was carrying a suspicious device, possibly a suicide vest, when he began shooting in the nightclub. Police used an explosive device to distract the gunman and rescue around 30 people who had been taken hostage. Police engaged in gunfire with the man, and an officer was shot in the head but was saved by his helmet. FBI says gunman may have leanings toward radical Islamic terrorism, and it is being investigated as an act of terrorism, and might I add, a hate crime, because as everyone knows, Muslims do not accept the gay lifestyle, the LGBT lifestyle. So that's why we must reconcile the difference between left-wing liberals preaching tolerance of radical Muslim Islamic terrorists, because they will kill gays, as is evident by the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. So political correctness must end, and this issue must be taken very seriously. Also coinciding with the largest mass shooting in U.S. history, over 50 dead, was the singer from The Voice, Christine Grammy, 22, who was also shot dead on Friday in Orlando, Florida. So Florida has seen a lot of murder shootings in the last 3 days. The suspected Islamic extremist who slaughtered at least 50 people after taking partygoers hostage inside a gay Orlando nightclub was angry after seeing two men kissing. Law enforcement sources have identified the shooter, who was wielding an AR-15 assault rifle and a handgun, as U.S. citizen Omar Manteen, 29, from Florida. The gunman, who was born to Afghanistan parents, was carrying a suspicious device, possibly a suicide vest, when he opened fire on the dance floor inside Pulse in the early morning hours. Here's a picture of the terrorist taking selfies. And we're going to go through some pictures of the crime scene here. A woman sits on the ground outside the club while party goers escape. Her legs are covered in blood. You can see right there. Emergency services are pictured in the scene outside the Pulse nightclub. Distraught victims outside. It's an unbelievable scene of mass murder. More distraught victims. SWAT team, Orange County SWAT team department arrived on the scene and fatally shot the terrorist. Full-on militarized police state gear. More scenes from the terrorist attack. Writing on Facebook, Pulse, which described itself as the most prominent gay nightclub in Orlando, urged partygoers to get out and keep running as bullets started flying at its club around 2 a.m. Orlando Police Chief John Mina said the suspect exchanged gunfire with an officer working at the nightclub around 2 a.m., then went inside and took hostages. There were about 320 people inside the club at the time of the shooting, and about 100 people were taken hostage. Around 5 a.m., authorities sent in a SWAT team to rescue the hostages. 9 hero officers used a controlled explosion to distract the shooter before fatally shooting him, and were able to rescue about 30 hostages who were hiding in the bathroom of the club. During the gunfire, an officer was shot, but he was saved by his helmet. More scenes, more pictures from the scene of injured victims. Truly amazing. Again, worst mass shooting in U.S. history by a radical Islamic terrorist. A hate crime. So we have terrorism and a hate crime, all in one package. There's the officer's helmet who was shot. Pulse shooting. The shooter is inside the club and dead. And that's a tweet out of Orlando Police Department. Another tweet by them. We can confirm this is a mass casualty situation. Calling for support from local, state, and federal agencies. And it just goes on from there. More photos from the scene. People are already mourning. Sources are talking about the suspect was wearing a bomb vest, a suicide vest. Tweets from inside the club. 4 of us are still hiding. Lights are out. Cops are here but haven't got us yet. He's strapped with a bomb. Truly, truly amazing. And this ties in with ISIS announced Florida threat 3 days ago. We will attack Florida. And so ISIS made this announcement 3 days ago. ISIS unveiled U.S. kill list last week, including 600 Florida residents, in the wake of the tragic event that took place at an Orlando, Florida nightclub, The Pulse, early Sunday morning, that left 50 dead and 53 wounded. At the time of this writing, it has been discovered that the shooter, Omar Manteen, was on a watch list over his association with suspicious people. What will likely attract attention and potentially lead to inquiries into why nothing was done in response is that only a few days ago, a pro-ISIS group released a hit list with the names of more than 8,000 people on it, mostly Americans. One report said that more than 600 people from Florida were on the kill list. And all this ties into Obama administration surge agenda threatening U.S. with 100 Syrian refugees per day. The Obama administration has created a resettlement surge center which has produced a pouring of 100 Syrian refugees in the U.S. per day. The very real risk to Americans, the lack of proper vetting of these individuals by the quick processing that is done. Almost all of them are reported to be Muslims. So, who's to blame for this? Well, we know the Obama administration and the left-wing anti-gunners are going to blame gun owners because political correctness, we cannot call this what it was, a radical Islamic terrorist act, a hate crime against gays. So we have to blame gun owners, and we have to continue to take in unvetted refugees who are the majority Muslim into this country so we can have further terrorist attacks. And why does everyone in America have to be spied on and no terrorism is stopped? And the TSA date rapes you at the airport, sends you through naked body scanners. No terrorism is stopped. And if you remember the San Bernardino shooters were also under investigation by the FBI, but they were pulled off that investigation because of political correctness. It seems that this is the same case here. Under investigation for being a radical Islamic terrorist, but nothing is done. That's why the security state and the violation of the Fourth Amendment by the NSA, by the FBI, by all these intelligence agencies is a complete and utter fraud. We know who the threat is. It's radical Islam. There's no other people doing these terrorist attacks. But yet we continue to import them into our country because of political correctness. Hey, Obama administration, let's bring in some Christian refugees, not radical Muslim extremists who are unvetted. Do your own research about the worst U.S. shooting in history that killed 50 people at a gay nightclub in Orlando. Subscribe to this channel, speak out, and take action.